What it is, what it do. You tuned into the Jose Morales podcast. I'm your host, Jose Morales, and we're back this week with a new episode. I hope you enjoyed the last episode with the boxers, Andy and X, and I hope you guys gained something from it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. This episode on this week's, I'm going to have Keren Atalor in the ring with me, sharing her personal life and her upbringing and what she does for her career, her traveling. She has so much good insight, but my favorite thing about her is despite everything that the world threw at her, everything you can think of that could break someone down and create that all poor me mentality, she's fought back with the positive attitude, and with that positive attitude just made the life of her dreams. She's been traveling throughout the whole world, 25 countries and counting. She talks about that. She talks about the gym. She talks about her life and her future in ventures that she's going to get on. So hope you guys enjoy this episode. Here it is. Keren, welcome on. Thank you for coming on. I know this is kind of like, boom, all about you. And some people are like, I don't want to do that. And you were all about it. So thank you. Thank you so much. First question I wanted to ask you is, do you know why I picked you to be on the podcast?
Oh, that's a good question. I don't, but I'll take a guess.
All right, let me hear the guess.
Maybe I've been here now a year and a half, almost 2 years. I want to say 2 years, not 2 years yet. About a year and a half, and I've had a lot of transition and a lot of growth here. Yes. So maybe that's why.
That is definitely part of the reason. Okay. Yes. And that's part of it. There's a couple other things I really love about you. Okay. But when I pick somebody to join the podcast, I want to pick somebody that's very inspirational. And I feel like you're one of that.
Oh,
you match that. You're very inspirational. Yeah. Just one huge character trait that I love about you is how happy you are all the time. You're always smiling. You're always happy. It doesn't look like you ever have a bad day. So I'm sure you do, but you handle it really well. Mm-hmm. Where does that come from? Where does the smile come from? How do you stay so positive? Tell me that.
That's a good question. Well, thank you. I would say I really want to just say I was born like this, because if you meet my mom and you meet my dad, they're very different. My mom is on the positive side, but she definitely doesn't show it or express it. Yeah. And my dad, he shows no emotion whatsoever.
Okay. Where'd you get it from then?
Yeah, I always ask my family, like, where did I get this from? And they were just like, you've always been this way since birth. Like, you've just always naturally been a jolly baby.
Yeah, so you've always been happy.
Yeah, I've always been happy, but also I just try to look at the like bright things in life, the bright side of things. There's a lot that you could be like mad and sad about, but it's easier to spend energy being happy versus using that energy to be angry or mad. It's not even worth it.
That you say that. Yeah. I love that you say that.
Yeah.
Because picking your battles of where do you spend your energy is huge.
Yep, it is.
Is it worth to be it? No, it is. Is it? Yeah. No. So I agree with you.
Yep.
Now, you talked about your parents. You talked about them being different.
Yeah.
Let's get a little bit in your background. So tell me first, before yourself, tell me about your parents. Where are they from? Where were they born? And things like that.
Okay. My dad is from Sudan, which is in East Africa, next to Egypt and Ethiopia. My mom is African-American. She is from the Bay Area. She was born and raised in Benicia, Vallejo area.
Yeah.
My parents met when my dad was working at a liquor store in San Francisco. She would go into the liquor store to buy stuff, and
that's how the love.
that's how they hooked up. They hooked up in San Francisco at the liquor store. They got married, ended up having me. They were together for not long, maybe like 3 years.
Oh, thanks.
And then they separated, mostly because of cultural differences. Yeah. Like my dad, at the time they got together, he didn't even speak English. His native language is Arabic. So he didn't speak any English. My mom converted to Islam for him in the marriage. And it just, for whatever reason, didn't work out. Yeah. And he ended up remarrying someone from his country, which lets me know, like, he wanted someone more what he was used to, what he grew up with. But I came out of that, which was a beautiful...
I came out of that.
And it's interesting because it's like, growing up, everyone was like, we know you're Black and we know you're African-American, but there's something about you. What is it? And I was like, oh yeah, I'm African. I'm actually, like, my dad is from Africa. And my last name is, before I got married, was Usman, or Osman, Osman. And so a lot of people were like, okay, that's different. Like, where are you from? And so that's my dad's side, my Sudanese side. Mm-hmm. So, and I actually got the chance to go to Sudan in 2016, which was like an amazing experience to like learn about my culture, see my family, not even be able to communicate with them because they all speak Arabic and I didn't grow up learning Arabic. Oh. I learned a little bit when I was there for 2 weeks, and my two sisters speak Arabic fluently. So my family speaks fluently, but I'm still I'm
Yeah.
still picking it up.
Yeah.
And
How many siblings do you have? You said 2 sisters.
I have 2 sisters on my dad's side. We
Mhm.
share the same dad, and then I have a brother on my mom's side. We share the same
Are
mom.
they younger or older?
So my 2 sisters are younger than me. One is 23, and then the other one is 21. And then my brother is 40 or 39, and I'm 33. So
okay.
we're about 5 years apart. But I was always kind of like the younger sister because me and my brother grew up together. So he
Yeah.
was the one looking after me. And then as I grew older, I was the older sister on my sister's side
Yeah.
because I was the older one on that side.
And your sisters, were all your siblings in the
Yeah.
Bay Area raised?
Yes, pretty much they were. My sisters were born and raised here in the Bay Area. I was born and raised in the Bay Area, and then I moved a lot, like a lot.
Yeah.
Between elementary to high school, I moved. I can't even tell you how many times, but
You're
I pretty
like
much
me. That's exactly what
yeah.
I moved all the time.
I moved a lot. Went to different schools. Met a lot. Yeah.
What caused the move for you? I'm curious.
Yeah. Okay, so for me, so to rewind, my mom and dad separated. My mom was on her own. She struggled with drug addiction.
Mhm.
And so because of that, at one point she was like, this is too much. I can't do it. I have to I need help. And so she actually decided to call CPS herself and be like, you know what? I need support taking care of my kids.
Oh,
My
dang.
family won't help me. At the time, my dad was like, he had some whatever. He didn't want to do his job as a father.
Yeah.
And so, my mom took the responsibility to figure out, okay, well, what I'm going to do because I need help. And so at that time, it was me and my brother. We went into the foster care system. They separated us.
How old are you?
Oh, man. I think the first time I was 9. I really don't remember the age, but I was definitely young.
Yeah.
So I
You
was
were
at 8 or
young,
9.
but you were young enough to know what's going on.
Oh, yeah. I knew what was going on. And even when my mom was struggling with drug addiction, I would be like, Mom,
Can we talk about that for a little bit?
Yeah, we can.
How was that? First, I'm going to ask you about
Yeah.
going into the whole foster home.
Yeah.
But how was it? Did you see your mom struggle with drug addiction or did you just hear about it? Or did you actually see
Oh,
it?
no, I saw it.
Oh, you saw it?
Firsthand, because one, my mom was a single mother. So she did her best to make sure we had food and like the lights were on and all of that. But I saw it firsthand because she was literally struggling with it. And she would kind of like have moments where I'm like, this is not normal. Like, what's going on? Very paranoid. She would be gone for a while. She would get paid and the money would be gone fast. So I had to become really responsible at a young age.
Yeah.
I had to be like, Mom, like we have to pay these bills. I mean, I started doing that at like age 8. I was just like, collecting the mail, keeping everything organized, making sure like we were good. And so I think that's why I'm really good at that now.
Yeah.
Because I had to do that at a young age. And then my brother, of course, was doing his job as an older brother, looking after me. We were looking after each other. But really, I did see it firsthand because addiction, her drug of choice was cocaine. Not cocaine, crack. Because crack is
But that's when it was really popular at that time in that area.
Yes.
Yeah, it was
and
huge.
actually, we were back and forth between San Francisco and Sacramento. So I lived in Sacramento when I was younger too. My mom struggled with addiction in Sacramento and in the Bay Area. It was kind of everywhere. Right. It was everywhere. But the way I knew she was struggling was just like her behavior. She wasn't really present. You're kind of paranoid. You just know like something's not right.
Yeah.
Something's not good. But I really commend my mom because she did take the stance and was like, I want to get help. I want to get better. But she was dealing with a whole bunch of stuff on top of that, not just drug addiction, also like mental health too.
Yeah.
So mental health with drug addiction together, it's like an explosion.
Yeah. And I think too, that's a lot of also with traumas and things like that.
Yes,
people
exactly.
use substance to kind of
Exactly.
put a Band-Aid on what's going on with it. Yeah.
Because she grew up too and had didn't have a chance to really live her life.
Yeah.
And so that all carried on
When
to
you
her.
start understanding that, like how old were you when you started understanding that? It had to be when you were older.
Like 12, 13 is when I really started being able to make sense of things.
Yeah.
But honestly, recently, I'm just now really understanding everything now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I agree with you. It was same
Yeah.
with me. Like with my mom, I started seeing things as a kid I didn't understand.
Yeah.
Until recently, now I'm kind of like with both mom and dad. I'm like, I understand why he did that. I understand why she did that. So you kind of started connecting the dots.
Oh yeah.
With going into the foster care system and all that, give us your experience with that. The very first time when you getting dropped off at some random house with random people.
I was so mad at my father because I actually was staying with my father and at the time my stepmom. And at the time, I love my stepmom, but at the time she didn't speak any English. So I just felt like no one was there. My dad was working. She was doing her best to take care of me. She did a great job. But I stayed with them for about 2 weeks, and then it was like, oh no, you're gonna go. Like we can't take care of you any longer. And I was confused because I'm like, I'm your child.
Yeah, how you gonna
Like,
say that?
yeah. I think it was just me, like, I was very different than what like my dad had another daughter at that time. She was a baby. I didn't speak the language. I'm African American.
You stood out.
I stood out.
Yeah.
I stood out. Even though we almost look alike, I completely stood out. Different culture, different language, everything's different. So I don't know if that was a big part of it, but for whatever it was, he didn't take his, he didn't do his job there and was like, you know what, I can't handle this. So he then agreed, like, I'm going to put you in the foster care system. And that's actually when I moved back from the Bay Area, because at that time I was living in San Leandro, to somewhere in Sacramento. I think it was like Citrus Heights. I went to some family, and I just kind of felt like, you know what?
So you were at a foster home in Citrus Heights?
Yeah, I think the first foster home I was in Citrus Heights, and it was with this Black woman. She was great. She had like 2 kids of her own, but it was very much like, you're just doing this for the money. And I knew that at a young age. It just felt very like I was uncomfortable. I didn't stay with her long. I think I stayed with her for like a month. Like, it was quick.
I explained that. I need to get more info on that.
Yeah.
How was it that it was so awkward feeling? Like, tell me a story. Like, oh, this time I was eating dinner and this happened.
Well, it was very much like she had her 2 kids, and you could tell the love she gave to her 2 kids versus me.
Yeah,
it was like, you're a paycheck. I'm here to do this because I need extra income. And at that time, everybody was doing it because it was kind of easy to like be a foster parent. And it was this extra source of income. So I just felt like an outcast within the family. And I only stayed with them for about a month. And then from there, I really can't even tell you how many other places I lived in, but I would probably say like 10 different homes. From that moment to like for the next 5 years, I lived with so many different people. Like, I'm talking about most of the families I lived with, like, I have good things to say about them, but like a lot of them I just don't remember because it was just like in and out, different school. I went to so many different schools. So finally, by the time I got to high school, I was like, I'm not moving. I'm staying at this one high school, which I did. And that felt very good because I just have been moving and moving and moving my whole life. I never had a chance to like sit still. I had to always make friends and just kind of go with the flow.
For sure. What was like, how did you handle being a young kid and getting treated differently at a foster home? Like, what was your emotions? Did you ever like cry yourself to sleep? Did you ever were you there with was your brother there with you in the same home, or did he go somewhere else?
So they separated us, and that's what they do in the foster care system.
That's kind of messed up.
It is, and the reason they separated us was because they said, "Oh, your brother's gay." Like, my brother is gay; he's a gay man. And
wait, he was already gay at the time?
Yeah, he was gay since. My brother's been gay since day one. So I'm like, I mean, I do believe some people are kind of like born gay.
No, but, I agree.
He is like, since we were 2,
so
3.
That
he
was the reason. That was a reason to break you guys up.
Yeah, they were like, oh, we're gonna put them separate. They need separate homes. We're gonna find a family that's more, willing to deal with that, and which I think was horrible because then we separated, but we stayed in touch because we did like monthly visits with my mom. So we still had, contact, but we didn't. There was a big part of our childhood where we weren't raised together.
Yeah,
and then I think reunited at like, God, by time. Okay, so then I know I'm all over the place, but to rewind. I ended up going to foster care, and my cousins took me in. 2 of my older cousins, my mom's cousins, so like my second cousins, took me in, and they raised me for about a year. I was with them for about a year, and it was great. And then I was in therapy, and my therapist like just fell in love with me and was like, "I want to take you in," which is amazing.
I can see them falling in love with you. You have good energy.
Yeah, thank you. And I was young at the time. I was like 10. And I was going to therapy for like 6 months, and then she knew my story. And I think at the time it was too much on my 2 cousins who were taking care of me. It's a big responsibility if you don't have kids, is like, just say, I'm going to take care of someone's kid. So then I ended up being taken in by my therapist, who ended up being my foster mom. And then that was the first time where I was like, okay, this is a real loving foster family. Like, they actually care. They invested in me. That's where I learned a lot about, that's where they, at a young age, they put me into a lot of different sports. They like showed me a life that I never seen.
Yeah, they cared about you.
Yeah, they cared about me. And to this day, I'm very thankful because I'm like, they gave me a different opportunity.
That family, that was in the Bay Area?
Yep, okay. They're in the Bay Area. So that family, was in the Bay Area in Oakland. So I lived with them. And then that's kind of how I started my roots in Oakland, I would say. Because I was born and raised in San Francisco, and then I moved around a lot, came up to Sacramento, and then was in the Bay Area back in Oakland, and then was there pretty much from from high school on after that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the reason why I wanted to ask you
Yeah.
that question about did you ever like cry yourself to bed or anything like that is
Yeah.
I'm curious of how you handled feeling unwanted or
Yeah.
not being a part of something or not having a family. How
Yeah.
did you handle that? Or if you felt
You know,
any
that's a good question because I don't remember crying myself to sleep, but I was very angry. I did have a lot of anger. And it wasn't towards like those people, it was towards my father. I was the whole time during this whole process, I was never mad at my mom. I mean, there was sometimes I was mad at her, of course, but I was angry at my father because I'm like, you have two parents, and for whatever reason, if they're not together, that's okay. But like, it is your responsibility, and when you have kids, for both parents to do their part. And I was just so angry. I was like, why doesn't he want to take care of me? Like, I'm his daughter. And at that time, my dad was doing very well in life. Like, he was really well off.
Yeah, so he could like easily
oh
took
yeah,
care of you.
yeah, easily. But he just rather like send money from time to time, and that was it, and not deal with me. So I have a lot of unresolved resentment towards him.
Did you how did
Yeah.
you guys get back in contact or did you
My sisters. It's because of my sisters. If it wasn't for my sisters, I don't know I would be in touch with my father. But I also like something my husband has taught me is that, like, really you got to forgive your parents, and no matter what, like even if they don't do their part and say sorry, like I may not get what I want from him, the response I want or the acknowledgement, but like as long as I heal and I do my part, then it's gonna save me some, some healing in my life in the future.
Sure.
But it's because of my two sisters that I even go around. Like I have a good relationship with both of them, especially the younger one who's 21. I look after her, we're really close. And now my dad is much older and he's on dialysis. Like I don't know, like his health is not doing that well. So now I'm just like, I'm in a place of forgiveness because I'm not gonna
Karen, we have a lot in common, Karen.
Yeah, really?
Yeah. I'm telling you, you keep saying things, and I'm like, damn, I was like that. Damn.
Yeah,
like the anger, feeling angry.
Yep.
I'm similar, had a lot of anger. And real quick, shout out to your husband. If you guys have not met her husband's off the chain. Love the dude. Yeah. I got to meet him on a couple different occasions, and every time it's been nothing but good energy, good vibes, happy.
Yeah, he's I will say he's kind of like, it's nice to see he's a reflection of me in a way. And I used to be the more social person, but now he's the more social person.
Social.
So I'm like, wow, you're more social than I am. But I think
you brought it out of him.
I did.
So tell me, you're moving around, you graduated.
Yep.
You went to school, high school, college. What you do? What was your career like?
So I went to high school, completed high school. I graduated from Skyline High School in Oakland. I was like, I'm going to go to college. That's like what you're supposed to do. I didn't really care to go to college, to be honest. I just wanted to make money. I've always wanted to just make money. And so I did go to college though. I did a year in Texas at a historically Black college in the middle of nowhere. It was like a Christian school. Great experience, but not for me. I was very homesick.
Yeah, I need to go back to California.
I was like, I need to go back to California. And I have a lot of family in Texas. So they were like, no, you're going to do good here. And I just wasn't for me. I did about a year there. And then after that, I came back. And I ended up learning about this program called Year Up, like the year. And at that time, and the program is actually still around. At that time, the whole focus of that program was to help young adults like between the ages of 18 and 24 who have a high school degree or high school diploma, but didn't go the college route, to help them get a job in corporate America. So pretty much like you would go into this program and they would teach you all the IT skills, business communication skills for 6 months. And then the second 6 months of the program, you would get an internship at one of their partners, pretty much like all the tech companies in the Bay Area. So I did that, which led me, I didn't have a job. I did that. I graduated the program. I worked at Chase for a while as a teller. And it was great, but I didn't go in that program to do that necessarily.
Yeah.
But because I did that, I had the network there. After graduating, I had the whole network, which eventually helped me get another job at another startup company, where I was like, I don't even know what my title was. It wasn't really a title. I was just an assistant, to do everything. It was called Dev Bootcamp. It was a startup company. And at that time, what they did was they would work with software engineers, people who wanted to become software engineers. It was like a thing, like, become a software engineer. And like you would see like doctors and lawyers and people like converting over to do this new thing. Like software engineering was really big in the Bay Area then. It still is, but it was really big. And so a lot of people would go to this school for a year, and then they would also help you get jobs, and you would have to pay a lot of money to go to that school. But I worked there and I helped them like do operations, just run the whole program pretty much. Yeah. And I did that for about 3 years. And then I went over and moved into working at Groupon. At the time, Groupon was really big.
Groupon was cracking.
Yeah, not as much
fell
anymore.
off.
It did,
Yeah.
but it was really big then. I was an office manager then, and I had to like manage the office. So that was kind of like my background was like admin work, administrative work. So then I ended up going to Groupon. I was there for about 5 years. Remind you, I never ended up completing college. I pretty much went to college for a year, dropped out,
And
just went straight to work.
Yeah, this is straight, just all networking, meeting people.
Yeah.
And this person connects with that person. Suddenly
and I just really wanted to work because I didn't like the feeling of not having money. And then, you know, growing up, seeing my mom like not do well with money, I was like, I have to do with money. I have to make money. But
isn't it funny how that is? Like you get like traumatized. I don't want that to happen. And then you completely do the opposite of what your parents.
Exactly. I was like, nope, I'm not doing that. I'm not going that route. So I ended up working. And then long story short, I ended up at the company I'm at now, which is Airbnb. I just made like 5.5 years there. And I'm an executive assistant. So I support at the moment like 5 different people who are in really high positions there. I help manage their schedule, help keep their team agendas. We sometimes do like big offsites where we get the whole team together. It's like I'm the one who's doing the operations. Mm-hmm. So that's my job. I like doing it. And I was saying I kind of did that at a young age and I'm just naturally good at it. So that's what I do now and I like doing it. And you don't have to have a college degree. I mean, even though like this job, it said like have a bachelor's degree, I always applied and always I was blessed to get it.
Yeah. I agree with that.
Yeah.
I feel like your character and your personality and your work ethic can play a lot more than a degree.
Yeah.
And especially if you know the person.
Yeah.
If you know the person or know people, you're a couple feet, you're already a couple steps in the door.
Yep.
You probably got it over somebody, which kind of sucks for people that spend a lot of money to go to college.
I know, yeah.
And all that have work. Yeah.
It's true, I see it.
So tell me about this. Before, I want to ask you about the Airbnb and all that, but I want to hear the love story. How'd you meet your husband? Tell me that story.
My husband. Okay.
Was it at a liquor store?
No, but actually it was at a bar.
Oh, shit.
So I never thought that would be the case. We were at a bar. I was by myself. He was with his friend. I actually saw him, didn't say anything. He didn't say anything. Went to that same bar like 2 days later and he was there again. And he approached me and was like, hey, you're here again. Not that I used to like to drink because I'm not even a drinker, but like I was there just like, you know, it was at that time I was younger. So I think I was like 26 and I was just out having fun. It was around Thanksgiving holiday. And I think I was off of work that week. So I was there and this is at a bar in Oakland. It's no longer there, but it's called Make Westing in downtown Oakland. And we met. And then from that moment, it was like, hey, we exchanged numbers. He was only in this country at that time 2 months. So like I could barely understand what he was saying. He speaks English, but the accent was so thick, I could just barely understand what he was saying. But I was like, I like this guy after we started, you know.
Similarities to your parents.
Yes, I know. Actually, when I said it, I was like, wow, it's kind of the same story.
Yeah, kind of similar.
Exactly. So we met at the bar, exchanged numbers, went from like 2 months to a year and we were living together. We were actually way before a year, like within 6 months we dated. He was new to the country. He was actually only here for a wedding. He was only here on a traveling visa. He was supposed to go back. But then his best friend who lived in Oakland was like, dude, you got to come to Oakland. Got to Oakland and he was like, dude, you got to stay here. I'm gonna hook you up with a job. You don't need to go back. Like there's nothing back there. Like stay here. And he was like, I got to go back. I got, you know, family there. I have a life there. He hooked him up with a job and then he met me. And then he was like, oh, I guess I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah. The friend hooked him up with a job and then he hooked himself up with a girl.
Yeah. And then I was like, oh, no, you're not going anywhere. We're going to have to figure this out. But he didn't go anywhere.
And now you guys been married how long?
We just, it'll be 6 years in December. Right. So yeah, 6 years in December. Congrats. We were together, thank you. We were together only a year. So we've been together like total like 6.5 years.
Yeah.
So we got married quick. We did.
That's cool. You guys knew that it was
I knew.
I knew. Feel it.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not going to, you just know, like you said.
You know, exactly. You can feel it, you know, this is it.
This is the person. This is the person. So
Now tell me about you're traveling. Every time I go on your Instagram, I see you're at some random place around the world. So your bio says 25 countries and counting.
Yeah.
Let me hear the 25 countries. Name them off.
Oh my gosh, can I name them off? Okay.
Let me see. Let's go. Let's go. Start with one.
Okay, Nigeria, Sudan, Thailand. Laos,
Laos.
which is next to like Thailand.
Yeah.
Cambodia.
Cambodia. I didn't expect a lot of Asian countries.
Yes. Mexico.
Mexico.
Indonesia.
Indonesia.
Oh my God. Okay, let's go to Europe because I've been to UK, France.
UK, France.
Morocco, which is also in
Morocco.
Africa. Where
You
else?
speak Spanish, I think.
Yeah, I wish.
Yeah.
I should.
Yeah.
I've been to Mexico a lot of times. So
Yeah.
like, if we can count Mexico, I love Mexico. We can count that a few times.
Yeah.
God, I've been to so many other places. Why
Brazil.
can't I
I
think?
saw you were in Brazil.
Yes, Brazil. Okay, yeah. So let's go. Oh, Colombia is like my favorite place.
Colombia.
So Colombia, I've been there like
That's
3
12.
times. Colombia, Brazil, Panama.
Panama. And you were in Cuba recently too.
Yes, Cuba.
That.
Yep, Cuba. God,
14.
let's see. I'm trying to think of some of these places were a while ago. South America, I think we said Colombia, Brazil. I actually haven't done too much of South America. I would like to do more. I like really want to go to South America. Like I really want to go to Argentina and all those other places. Yeah. I do want to go.
This is what I really wanted to talk about.
Okay.
All right, you forgot them.
I forgot the rest. Gosh. Okay.
But if you go on her Instagram, man, it's like looking at a magazine.
Yeah.
You've seen all these beautiful pictures of all over the world, like crazy, like sceneries. It's amazing.
Thank you.
So first, how do you do it? Like, do you prep for it financially? I think this is huge.
Yeah.
A good question for a lot of people that would want to know. There's people that want to travel. Me personally, I think you're the only person I've met that traveled that much. So I'm curious to know too. Oh. How do you do it?
Okay, well, I want to first start by saying I took my first trip out the country to London in 2012. It was like for a work trip at the time. So I got to go for work. And after that, I was like, I got to travel. I had to get passport stamps. That was like a thing for me.
When was that?
2012.
Okay.
That was the first time I ever left the country. I went to London. I fell in love with it. And then from that moment on, I was like, I'm going to travel some more. And then I went to Sudan, was the second place where my dad is from. And then third was Thailand. And then I think after I went to Thailand, it just like this addiction. I just didn't want to stop. I don't know where my love for traveling came from, but I think it's just the fact that I moved around a lot as a kid. And I just knew like, I want to go and see and explore. Like, I just like to.
You don't want to be in one place.
Yeah, pretty much.
How'd you pick these places?
Oh.
Like, how did you pick them? Like Thailand. Why'd you pick Thailand?
Oh, yeah. I picked Thailand at the time, and I went in Thailand like 2016. So it was like, at the time, it wasn't as popular. Now it's super popular. Yeah. I picked Thailand because I like Thai food. But then I was like, okay, it's affordable and it's very friendly for like backpackers. So at that time when I traveled, I didn't make money like I do now. Like I was making a certain amount of money. So I had to travel on a certain, on a budget. I stayed in hostels. I solo traveled. Like I just started traveling with my husband when I got married. But before that, all these trips were solo. So everything I mostly traveled,
alone.
I was alone. So I did a lot of hostels. So they're very affordable. Like you pay like $15 a night, but you're sharing a room with like 6 strangers. And I met and I'm still in touch with so many people I met from like Europe and Africa who would just backpack. Like these are real backpackers. Like I would travel with a big suitcase and they would look at me like, what are you doing? Yeah. And I was
She's
like, no.
American.
Yeah, exactly. I was like, but I'm here traveling too, like you guys. So I traveled on a budget. I stayed in hostels. I don't
think I've ever talked to somebody that stayed in one of them ever in my life.
Yeah, I stayed in. Would I do it now? No, but that's just because I was.
That's how you started.
That's how I started.
Yeah.
And it was a great experience. But now, and I work for Airbnb, so it's like it was a perfect fit because I was like, okay, I want to work for a place that I actually believe in the mission. Like, what are they doing? And I'm like, I love to travel. Before I worked there, I used Airbnb a lot. So now, and of course I use it now to this day, but I also do a lot of like hotels, but now I really just kind of like I could plan a trip like within a few days. I don't really, the older I get, the more I don't plan because the feedback I got from my husband was like, I'm overdoing the trip. Yeah. Like I'm booking the agenda. Like we're booking our days so much with tours. He's like, I just want to relax. So now I'm learning how to travel and relax and just like go at my own pace, like slow pace.
Sounds like me.
Yeah.
And you drive me nuts. Girl, I ain't trying to backpack. You chill out.
Yeah. He's like, let's just chill. Let's just take it in. So now I'm kind of like learning how to travel at a different pace.
Yeah. I want to ask you about, you said you believe in the mission of Airbnb. What's the mission and what about Airbnb as a company you love?
So Airbnb's mission is to bring people together from all around the world, no matter your background, race, anything. It's just to connect strangers.
Yeah.
And that's their whole mission is like, okay, we have a home, we rent it. They started with just renting like a room to people. Before it was like, now you can rent a whole home on there without people seeing you. But now how they started was like, okay, you just rent a private room. So you would like host strangers in your home.
Yeah.
And I did that a lot. And it was cool when I traveled. You meet so many people that way.
Because I can see how that connects with you, who you are.
Yeah, exactly.
And your upbringing.
And I think the reason I was like super okay with doing that and doing hostels is because like I've lived around with so many different families and strangers that it's like, oh, it's nothing to me. I'm used to meeting people with different personalities, just different backgrounds and connecting with them since I had to do that at a young age. That's Airbnb's mission. And then I would say the reason I like working for them, it's a great company. It is. It's a very intense company. Like the work is 24/7 because they have these big goals they want everyone to hit. But when everyone is like passionate about it, it makes it a little easier to do the work.
Yeah.
And I have a really supportive team. So like who I work with now in support versus like if you asked me a year and a half ago, I was way stressed in my job when I first started here. I worked 24/7, like literally 24/7. Now I can like actually take time to do stuff like this and like people respect my time. Yeah. So I think it also depends who your manager is and who you support and all of that.
For sure.
Yeah.
Can you touch that on a little bit? How did you feel when you were working 24/7? Do you know you were working towards a goal, or were you just feel like you're being overworked? How was that?
For me, never complained about it. Actually, it was when my husband, and he didn't complain about it for like 3 years, but it was when he was like, you really are like working on vacation. And so even though people see me traveling a lot, like up until last year, up until this year, I was traveling, I was still working. Because at that time I supported a very high up person and they were always working and they were always under stress and they always had a lot going on. So
they delegate a lot of stuff to you.
Exactly. So I knew when I took this position, it was going to be a big responsibility, but then I didn't realize the toll it would take because when you're working 24/7, you know, you don't have time to do what you need to do for yourself. But then also like you are married, you have to share some of your time with your partner. And so that was not happening. And I was like, oh no, that's not good. Work is not everything. Yeah. And I was making it everything. Yeah. So I stepped back and was like, okay, this isn't going to work for me. And then at the time, it was a perfect transition. It just happened like Thanksgiving last year. At that time, my boss was like, I'm leaving the company. And I just felt this like, this big brick lift off my shoulders. And now, even though I'm supporting way more people now than I did, it's a lot more balanced. Yeah, like, and I support people who are parents. It makes a big difference because people who are parents have boundaries.
Yeah. So out of all these places you travel to, which one do you think is your favorite, or give me a couple spots that you really liked or things you have to go if you go to Thailand or whatever.
Yeah. Actually, my favorite country is Thailand.
Oh, really?
Yep. My favorite country is Thailand and I really want to go back. It's affordable. So you could do like, and I mean, back when I went in 2016, it was really cheap. Now it's gotten more expensive because there's a lot more people, but it's really affordable. It's beaches everywhere and it's really good food. And I like coconut and I like tropical weather. Yeah. The main reason I like Thailand is for the massages. You can get like a $5 massage for an hour. Yeah, you can. And I was getting 2 massages a day and I like massages. So and my husband hasn't been. I'm telling him like, we have to go. You're going to love it. And I know once he goes, he's not going to want to go anywhere else. Yeah. Because it's good food, good massages, and just beautiful scenery.
Yeah. And beaches and things like
that.
Right?
Exactly. I also like Mexico. Of course, I've been to like, Cancun and Cabo. They're more touristy areas. I want to go to like the more real areas, you know? I went to Tulum and it was nice, but I just feel like it's super expensive. Like it's one of the most expensive places I've been to. And I'm like, what's going on here? Yeah. But I really like Mexico City. So that was like, okay, this is a place where there's so many people there. I forget the population. It's a big city.
It's the second biggest city in all of Mexico is the biggest. Okay. I forgot what city in the U.S. is in it, but it's a huge city.
It's a huge city. I really fell in love with Mexico City and I got to go back. I've been now twice. I got to go for work and then the time before that was for fun. And I have friends there now. So I like Mexico because it's close. Yeah. So it's like I could go there. It's not too far.
4-hour flight.
Exactly. I feel very thankful that we're close to it.
Yeah. How was you say you went to Brazil and Colombia. You say like Colombia a lot too, right?
Yes. So I went to Colombia. I actually went last year, but before that I went like 2017, 2018, a few times. And when I went, my mom and everybody was like, do not go by yourself. Pablo Escobar, that's all they think about, like drugs. I was like, it's going to be fine. And it was very fine. It's
Yeah.
actually, I feel very safe there. I mean, I'm not going looking for trouble.
Yeah.
You know, you
I
don't.
think trouble finds you anywhere if you look for
Exactly.
it.
Exactly. The people are really nice in
Mhm.
Colombia, and the food is really good. So that's something that I like about it. But it's also very solo travel friendly. Like
No.
a lot of solo travelers go there.
Oh.
And now I've been to Cartagena. Cartagena is really cool because like I see people who look like me. I'm
Yeah,
like,
there's a lot of black people.
Yeah, I'm like, whoa,
Colombia.
this is, and it just trips me out because they're speaking to me, and I'm like, whoa. And you know, if I don't speak, they probably think I'm a Colombian too. So
Yeah.
it's really cool to see. And then I've been to Bogota, which is a really cool place, and I met some cool friends there, and Medellin twice, and I just love it. It's a great place to go.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful there. It's just
My
like
wife
so much to
wants
see.
to go there so bad.
Oh yes, it's so beautiful. It's
That's
so
cool. How about, let me ask you this. So you traveled internationally. How about in the US?
Yes.
What place would you say, I love San Diego, I love Miami?
Yeah.
What place is that?
That's a good question. Because during COVID, I was like, we need to start doing domestic travel. And my husband's not, believe it or not, he doesn't like to travel. I'm the one who likes to travel. So all those trips he's on, he feels forced. He has a good time, but he feels like in his mind, he doesn't want to travel until he's ready to retire.
Yeah.
He's about working hard now.
And then chill.
And I'm like, let me go and
enjoy it right now.
Yeah, I'm kind of like that. Like, let's enjoy. But I would say we actually just went to Palm Springs because I was like, I'm itching to go somewhere.
That's the one that has that hotel with like water.
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
It's like water. There was this beautiful hotel with like a boat and the water in it.
Yeah.
And it's the desert. So it's really hot. It's really hot. But it's like, it's just such a relaxing place. And everyone there is just like, you could tell is not stressed. Like everyone there is living good because it's a very much older retirement community. I really enjoyed Palm Springs, but I also like San Diego. I fell in love with San Diego.
Yeah,
San Diego's in California.
Yeah,
it's like,
San Diego's tight.
I'm like, if I didn't live where I live now, I would live in San Diego.
Yeah, San Diego's tight.
It's nice, right?
I went there this summer and it's pimping.
It's so nice. Got the beaches.
Good food.
Good food. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Anywhere I can get some good food.
I'm down.
I'm like, I'm good. Where else? I really like New York. New York. If I didn't live, okay, I'm not gonna say it. If I was not married, I would be in New York right now.
Really?
But, yeah.
Why?
Because it's a great place if you're single and like you're young and you want to have fun. But that's what I see through friends who live there, I would say. I don't know. I mean, there's lots of people who are married who live there, but like, it's just such a fun, like you're trying to discover yourself city.
Yep.
So if I didn't live here, you know, and if things were different, maybe I'd be in New York.
That's good. Now I got this. I've never been to New York.
New York is nice. And New York is nice because it's like, it's every culture is there.
Yeah.
Everybody is there from all around. That's where everybody goes when they first come to U.S. It's like New York. Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
So now let's talk about boxing. What got you to start boxing?
Okay. So, well, when I first moved here, so I moved here 2 years ago from the Bay Area. I'll be honest, I didn't want to move here.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm not leaving Oakland.
Especially because your last memory was a foster care that wasn't that great, right? So you probably...
But then after that, I had, you know, graduated high school, moved back. I did a lot of moving, but then I had lived in Oakland for about 8 years on my own. So then I kind of had a new version of like the Bay Area for me. And then all my family is there. But where we lived in the Fruitvale area, and it was great, but also like the neighborhood was bad. Like, I mean, my husband was like, we can't do this. Like gunshots, like it's not safe. You can't go to your car. During COVID, it got really bad out there. I don't know what happened. And just like during COVID, things went crazy. So we were like, okay, my job said you can work remotely. They were like, we're going to let everyone work 100% remote. So then I was like, oh, I don't have to live in the Bay Area. I don't have to go to SF every day. So then we were like, okay, where can we move? And at the time, my mom was living up in Auburn. And she was up here in this area. And we were like, okay, we want to move, you know, near my mom. So then we wanted to buy a house. So we could not buy a house in the Bay Area because it's like $1 million or $2 million.
Yep. From 1 bedroom.
Yeah, exactly. So we wanted to live somewhere where it was a nice neighborhood, safe, and we can buy a nice home. And then I actually one day went online and found they were building new homes in Rockland. And I was like, I don't know. It seems like there's nothing to do there. I don't know if I'm going to want to move there. It's so far from everything. But I knew that it was near the Galleria Mall. And I was like, that's a nice area and I like it. Long story short, we moved up here. We were here for about 6 months. And before that, I had a personal trainer I worked out with. I was very involved in the gym. I also did Orange Theory. I did like a lot of workout stuff.
Yeah.
And when I came here, I kind of got depressed because I didn't have that anymore. I didn't have like a fitness community, and I just was lost, and I was just gaining weight like left and right. I was like, this is not good. I was just kind of depressed, not having a place to go. And so I remember coming across Instagram here, and I was like, somehow I came across it. And then that's how I discovered Jose Morales Boxing Academy. And then I was like, okay, I had discovered it like for a while, but I waited for like a month or two. And then I think I finally reached out. And at the time it was Yesenia, because I won't forget. It was like, who's this bubbly person? Because I'm a bubbly person, but she is like really.
Yeah, she's hella bubbly.
And I was like, wow, I like this girl. And then I came in, and my sister came with me, actually. My sister, she was here. She came with me and did a tour. She's like, I wouldn't want to work out with you here. I wish I could come. But, you know, she lives in the Bay Area. And from that moment when I did a tour, I joined. I was like, I'm just going to join. And ever since I've been here, and it's been great. Yeah, it's been great. And to be honest, if I didn't come to this gym, I would easily try to figure out how to move back to the Bay Area, because when I think about what keeps me here, because I have moments where I want to move back. Don't get me wrong. But the thing that's keeping me here is like I have a nice house, and it's, you know, why would I give it up? Like you really think about it. But then it's also like, okay, I've built a community here. I've now made friends here. So, and that's what my husband keeps teaching me. Like, you don't have to, like, we have our friends there. They come and visit us. We go there all the time. I haven't even missed the Bay because it's really not that far. Yeah. If you want to go, my mom lives there. I go all the time. We could do that, but then also like we can start our own community here. Yeah. So that's kind of what I've.
And people love you here.
Yeah. Oh,
no, I'm
thank you.
When you walk in, and it's contagious because who you are. You know.
Yeah.
You get out what you get what you put out, and you put out a lot of good vibes. You're always happy. You're always cheering people on, and then seeing you hang out with people from the gym outside the gym. Like when I went to the movies and I saw you with Jackie.
Yeah. Oh, Jackie's my girl.
Yeah. And then I looked at you with Jackie, and then going out with Drea too, and her go away. It's just, I can see how much you connected with people, and it's because of the person you are. So
thank you.
That's something you earned for yourself, because not everyone can do that. So
I'm happy.
Thank you for being a part of the community. So
thank you.
And you be grinding here too.
Yeah, I've been trying.
You be getting it. You lost a lot of weight too.
I did. I had lost about 50 pounds.
Yeah.
I'm still not done. Give me a few years, but I'm still on the journey. It's a journey. It's a journey. Yeah. And that was the 50 pounds I pretty much gained from being depressed when I did the move.
Yeah.
And it feels good. Yeah, it feels good. You just like feel better when you feel healthy. Like, what is that saying? Healthy is as good, or skinny is as good as it tastes, or health, something like that, where it's like healthy is as good as it tastes. Anyway, something in those lines.
Yep.
So I always think of that when I'm like, okay.
You feel good.
You feel good.
Yep.
And I just really, and also, let me just say, I'm very inspired by the people in this gym, but by the women who are like in their 50s.
Yeah,
like all of them who I work out with, who can outrun me. I'm like, that inspires me, because I'm like, wow, they're much older. They've had kids. Like, there's no excuse. Like, so I really want to be like that, because I want to live a long life, and I really want to like not have health issues when I get older, like my parents do.
Yeah.
So I think it's important to focus on it now.
You brought up women, so I want to ask you this.
Yeah.
Seeing boxing for the first time in the gym, what did you expect? And was it different when you came in? Did you expect to have as many women around as you have? Or did you expect it to be more masculine?
Yeah, I kind of did expect it to be more masculine. The only previous experience I had with boxing was doing 9 round in the Bay Area. I did it. But that is such a like 30-minute workout, and it's quick. You just like, they're not teaching you. It's like, just hurry up and do the circuit. So when I came here, I was like, oh, this is a real class where you actually learn. And you know, I would come home and show my husband, and he's like, oh yeah, you're really excited about this. And I was like, yeah, you know, I'm not professional, but I feel like I actually know. And you know what, it's also another reason I want to do it is it's good to know for self-defense. You just never know. You never know. And I feel like women need to have that type of training.
When you're traveling solo.
Yeah, exactly. No, but seriously, exactly. But I didn't expect it to be, I would say, as many women. And I would say it's a very, the range is, there's all ages, from very young to like very much older, which I like.
It's very diverse too.
It's very diverse. That's what really got me too, because I was looking for somewhere where I'd fit in. I was like, okay. I didn't know based on the location. I was like, what's it going to be like? Am I going to, fit in here? Because before I came here, I tried a few other gyms that I just didn't
You
really
didn't feel like
meshed
you
with.
connected.
Yeah, I didn't feel like I connected. And then when I came here, I was like, okay, this is good. This
Yeah.
works for me. I
Yeah.
feel good here.
Yeah, you definitely gotta feel. I know what you mean by that. Where you're
Yeah.
like, oh, this definitely ain't for me.
Yeah, exactly.
Nothing wrong with what y'all doing. But
Yeah,
I feel like unwanted.
exactly. And then I met all the coaches. The first person I met was Antonio. He was
Yeah.
so nice. He went out of
Yes.
his way to like welcome me. And I know we had shared a few things. Like he had grew up in San Francisco too. So we automatically I felt connected to someone, you
Yeah.
know, and then from then everybody was just amazing.
That's tight.
Yeah, yeah.
Yep, and I can see why you get along with like Jackie too.
Yeah,
Jackie has a
yeah.
lot of similarities with you too.
Yeah.
That's
me too.
cool. So tell me something about you, like you wish people knew about hidden talents, specific skills, or anything like that. You have anything like that?
That's a good question. I always wish I could say I had a hidden talent, but I think the talent that I have that's not hidden is what we kept talking about, is the positivity. Is that I know that through anything, I have a lot. I could really be a different person. I could be depressed. I could be bitter. I could be on drugs. I could have every excuse to be the statistic.
Yeah.
But I feel like for me, like God gave me I guess you could say the talent or the gift of just really being thankful and like showing and kind of having gratitude and being positive. So like when we say, where does it come from? Or like, how did I become like this? I don't know, but I just think of it as a gift. And I just take it as a gift because I'm like, okay, I ask myself too, like, why am I not like this? Or why am I not like this person in my family? You know, they've had a better life but I try not to compare and like, you know, do all of that. But I would say my talent is really being able to overcome and just stay positive. And then
That's
also,
a great talent,
yeah. And then also I'm just a really good people connector. I've connected a lot of people like with friends and family members. You know, I just feel like I'm that person who kind of brings people together.
Yep. You're like a clay. You just get
exactly.
Is there anything you're looking forward to in the future?
Ooh, that's a good question. Eventually, I'm looking forward to becoming a mom. We really want to have kids. Or I should say a kid or kids.
You never know.
My husband wants to have like 4 kids. I'm happy with 1 or 2. But I'm ready for that. Like, I think I kept saying, I want to get married, of course, first. And then I said, I want to have a house. Okay, I have those things. And then now it's like, what else do you want? Yeah. I've traveled a lot. You know, when they say travel when you're young or travel before you have kids, because you're not going to be able to have the freedom. But it's like, I've done everything I really wanted to do. Yeah. Like, what's next? I'm ready for something next. So I'm ready for parenthood. Let's say parenthood.
Yep. All right, I'm going to start asking you random questions if you're ready for it.
Yeah.
All right, first one. What's your favorite place to eat locally?
Ooh, oh my God, that's hard. Locally? Oh, because there's a lot of good places.
You can give me a couple.
Okay, this, I feel like if I say it, it's gonna be like, that's bougie. There's this place in Roseville. No, there's this place in Roseville that opened up not too long ago at the fountains called Rose Park Bistro. They have really good food, like burgers. It's brand new. It's in the fountains. It's been there for about maybe 8 months now. Yeah. Really good food.
It's called
Rose Park Bistro. Oh. They have like burgers, steaks, lamb chops. I've been there a lot. They know me.
What's up,
like,
Karen?
Yeah. I'm like, they're really good. I really like Q1227. Yeah, that was the first place I went to when I first moved here. Another place I really like, probably my favorite, is Fixin's in Sacramento. Yeah, because it's like, oh my God, I love that place.
You get Kool-Aid there.
Yeah. So if I just want some good food, it's like, just go there. You know what I'm saying?
Comfort food. Oh man, you're making me hungry.
Yeah.
That's the kind of food you just feel when you're done. You're like, but yeah, I love Fixin's.
I haven't discovered yet a good Mexican restaurant. I think I've been to some, but I'm like, okay, maybe. And I know Jackie told me she was going to tell me some because she was like, we have good Mexican food.
No, we do. We have some fire Mexican food. But you know the thing with Mexican food here, I have spots for dishes. Like if you want tacos, what kind of meat? That kind of meat, you go to this place. If you want enchiladas, it's this place. There's not like one place for all Mexican food. That makes sense? So you got to know what you want to eat, and then you pick your place accordingly.
Okay. See, and I was very spoiled being in the Bay Area, and then I lived in Fruitvale, which is predominantly like a Mexican neighborhood. Yeah. I walked outside my door, there's taco trucks. Like, so I ate a lot of Mexican food, like every day. Yeah. I would just walk down the streets. Oh my God. And it was just like everywhere. That's what I kind of miss. But then also, I don't know, it wasn't that healthy for me.
Yeah. You gotta move to the hood.
Yeah, pretty much. Go. That's what my cousin said. He's like, there's some good food.
Yeah, you just gotta go to Franklin. Go to the Mexican neighborhood and you're gonna have the same stuff.
Get some good, have the same stuff.
Go to Northgate. But there's different places. But there's I love our
Yeah.
Mexican food.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
All right, that was a good one.
Yeah.
You named a place I haven't been to, so I'm gonna try that out. All right, what should we name this episode?
Ooh, oh my God, that's a good question. These are really good questions. Oh my God. Okay, let me think.
Think about it. We'll come back to it if you don't know it.
Okay, I'm thinking about it.
All right. What's some takeaways you like to maybe the listener to, if you're gonna get anything from this episode,
Yeah.
get this. What's some good takeaways?
I would say that no matter what you're going through in life, just do your best to remain positive. And it may sound cliche or like not easy at the moment, but it's easier to spend your energy doing that versus being angry.
Yep.
And the more you stay positive, the more you attract. And I believe that's why good things have happened to me. Because
I agree.
I
That's some good takeaways right there.
So I hope that helps.
No, it is. And it does. It's like, oh yeah, it's easier said than done. But
yeah.
There's definitely the energy of putting good vibes out there draws good vibes.
Exactly.
Like you put people in there. It's like the people tell me, Jose, how do you get all these great people in the gym? It's like, well, you have to put good energy out there and then it attracts good people.
Yes. And by the way, I was at Costco like a few weeks ago and I had on a JMBA hoodie and this guy came up to me and I wish I got his name. He looks like the guy from Harry Potter. So, and that's because I remember the main big guy. And anyway, he came up to me and was like, hey, how do you like that place? And I was like, oh, my shirt? And I was like, oh, I love it. I've been going here for like 2 years. He's like, I know Jose. He was like, I used to go there. He's like, I have moved, so I haven't been. But anyway, it was just so nice to get that interaction from someone so random at the Costco.
Yeah.
I thought I'd tell you that.
That's cool.
I didn't get his name, but
It is a trip when I hear stories like that too.
Yeah.
It's tight. It's cool to experience that. It's
exactly.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Is there anything you'd like to add to this episode?
I would say, well, it's been very nice. Thank you for having me. I felt very honored when you asked. I was like, really? Don't ask me. Oh my God, Jose's asking me to be on the podcast, which is nice because I've actually always wanted to do something like this. What? So yeah, I have a lot of. I did it. So I can say I've done it. And I would just say thank you. It's been a really great community here. I'm really happy that, like I said, if it wasn't for this gym, I'd be like, why am I living here?
Yeah.
What are the reasons besides all the places I like to eat? What are the reasons for sticking by? But this gym has given me, like I said, my own community. I've made great friends here. And so I'm very happy about that. But no, it's been a great time.
That's
I'm very appreciative of that. And I would say in this new chapter of my life, like I said, moving here for the last 2 years, this has been a whole new chapter. This is still new to me. Like this area is still new to me. We still use the Google Maps. I'm still learning. I'm still meeting people. I still feel like I just moved here like last week, but everyone is so welcoming and it feels good. So I feel like I've created a home here. Let's just say that. So yeah, no, I think I'm appreciative.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you something that I'm appreciative besides everything that I said about you on this episode while you were talking.
Yeah.
Hearing your story and hearing that story about the Citrus Heights foster home and how you felt like you were. I've never in my life thought about being a foster parent. You made me think about it. I'm not saying I'm going to do it.
Yeah.
But you made me think about it.
Well,
and maybe in the future, one day, maybe. But you made me really think about that, how you said, oh, I could tell they were doing it for the paycheck. And if I did it, I would want to make sure I was there doing it for the kids.
Exactly. And they need more good people because it's just a lot of people who are doing it for the paycheck. And it's sad. There's a lot of people in the system who don't get that experience or, things happen and it's not talked about, but I think we need more good foster parents.
Yeah. Would you ever do it?
That's a good question. When you said that, I was like, I think I would. I think I would. I think I would want to have a few kids or one kid first to get the experience or just to know, but I think I would. Yeah, because I feel like I know what I could give them and I know what it's like to be in a system. So I know exactly what I feel like they would need. So yeah.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's why I also, when you were talking about it, I'm like, I think I would know how to interact with the person feeling that way.
Yeah,
so,
exactly.
For sure. Let me see. I think I got everything.
Yeah.
I got to go back to that one question. What should we name this episode?
Oh my gosh. I want to call it the butterfly effect, but I'm like, why do I want to call it the butterfly effect? But I feel like because we talked a lot, I feel like we keep talking about growth and transitions and butterflies, they go from a caterpillar to a butterfly. It doesn't have to be titled that, but something around that.
I like it. Hey, maybe I will name it that.
Whatever you name it will be great.
How can people stay in contact with you?
Yeah, well, I am on Instagram.
Tell them your
And mostly
Instagram.
when I am on social media, it is posting travels. That's what I love to do and share with people. I am on Instagram at Everything Keren, which is my name, but it's Keren with an E, so Keren. And if you're in the gym, come and say hi. I think I've met most people, but I love meeting people. So I'm here, and I'm pretty much local. I'm between here and the Bay Area and everywhere.
Yep, around the world.
Yeah.
All right, what's the next country you're going to?
Ooh, that's a good question. I'm gonna say, ooh, that is a good question. I told my husband I want to get to South Africa. I want to go to Cape Town and Johannesburg.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's gonna be the next. If it's not there, it's gonna be
It's gonna be
Thailand.
eventually. But
Yeah, eventually.
yeah,
I really want to go there. Yeah.
that's cool. All right. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this episode.
Yes.
I enjoyed learning so much about Keren. If you do like it, share it. If you know somebody that can gain from this, share it with them. And if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe. I hope you guys have a great week. Thank you again, Keren, for
Thank
joining
you.
us. Have a good one.
Awesome.
We're out. Bye-bye.